Hey guys, welcome back to another Doom of Fools podcast. We have the GOAT. He's got millions of viewers on YouTube. Probably the face of high power magic and chaos. We got some Joe Johnson. What's up, man? How you doing?
What up? What's
Joe
good?
Johnson,
I wouldn't say millions.
Black Neto.
I want to say millions.
What'd you say?
I don't want to say millions, but you know, we out here.
You have millions of views.
All right, cool. Fair.
I did my research. You have 43 and a half
yeah.
thousand subscribers, millions of views. You know, you're one of the guys that got me into Magic, especially high power Magic, because I don't think you could play a precon. Like,
no, I mean, I have.
If you try.
And it's fun. You know what? The most recent precons that I played that I actually like, Disa, from the Goyf deck.
Yeah.
It made me make that deck. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a deck called It's Goyfing Time.
The Necrogoyfs and the
it's just nuts. It's so good. So I made that deck and made a high power.
Right.
And then I made the new deck, Lord of Pain, recently.
Oh god.
From Dustmore.
I know you're talking about.
So it's just, I mean, it's a fun, it's more casual on my speed because it's just one of those decks where it's like, it hurts me to play Magic. Why? And I'm like, time to play the game. Time to play the game.
Yeah, you're chaos. You can't hold back. I just look at this casual cards and I'm just like, I can't. I must ramp.
Yeah.
I must
ramp. Yeah. Must ramp.
I can't do it.
Yeah, there's like Mana Vault and all that. Speaking of Mana Vault, that thing spiked.
Woo, buddy. Who you telling?
Everybody's got foil Mana Vault. They're like,
come on,
let's go.
Yeah, let's talk about it. This is the week after the big bans in CDH, and a little later we're going to talk about how it maybe affected your pods and Commander and High Power. We're going to go through all that. But first, I want my viewers to really get to know Joe Johnson. How the fuck do you get into Magic? When did you get into Magic, and do you play some CDH?
Yeah, both. So I remember I was working. So I'm from Michigan, from Flint. And so I was working at this like weird like Disneyland for airplanes. It was called the Air Zoo.
Okay.
And it was like you walked around the whole park and you just saw like, you know, airplanes, like old vintage, like legit airplanes from all eras. And so like our job was to go around. We were like a troupe of actors and we were going around like with, you know, aviator kind of stuff on. Of course, I was a Tuskegee Airman, but I crafted from a real guy. His name was Ben Davis. I crafted that monologue from him, from his excerpts, and like I got to write out, you know, everything, do all my research, and I would just kind of go around and, you know, I would gather a crew of people, and I would tell them about, you know, being a Tuskegee Airman and this and this and this, and I would do that for like an hour. And then I would go back and do research. We basically would just like fuck around and just do whatever.
Yeah.
Because that was our that was our only task. So we were there for 8 hours a day, got paid for 8 hours, but only had to really work like 1 hour. Which was great. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so in our downtime, my buddy was like, hey, you want to learn how to play Magic? And I'm like, what is that? And he was like, oh, let me show you. You're going to love
Magic on the clock.
So
yes.
he taught me how to play Magic. And also I went to work. I had like 3 jobs. I was like hustling. So I went to my next job and I started talking about like, oh man, I learned how to play this really cool game, cool card game called Magic. And a customer overheard like our conversation. He was like, yo, I heard you talking about Magic. I'm actually getting out. Do you want my cards? And I was like, I mean, I'll buy them from you. Like, you know, whatever. And he's like, no. If you're going to play Magic, I'm down to just, he's like, I already sold out all of my cards that are worth stuff. I'll just give you stuff. And so he gave me 4, I think like 10K boxes or 5K boxes worth of Magic cards. They were all sorted. They were all like back in the day. Like, so I started playing I want to say Ravnica Returns or whatever, the second Ravnica.
Yeah.
And he gave me stuff that was all the way back from like Alpha Beta.
Oh shit.
And so I have like Alpha Beta lands. I had like Caracas in there. I had like fetch lands. I had a couple dual lands in there. Like it was insane.
Those are money.
And I was like, you sold the stuff you loved? What? What did you sell?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm thinking like he probably had like a stack of Black Lotuses like that deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had all these cards, and I went to the person that taught me how to play, and I was like, "Hey, you want to just divide these in half?" And they were like, "Yeah." And so we spent all night going based on pictures, like not even what they do, but based on pictures. Like, oh, this looks cool. Do you want this? And he's like, "Yeah, I want that." And so we just kept going back and forth all night, just like dividing the collection.
Yeah.
And so he took half, I took half, and we went forth. You know, went to the LGS. And I started playing standard at first, and I was like, I had this old collection, and I was like, you know, telling people the same story I just told you, and people were like, dude, you should get into Commander. You have all this old stuff. Maybe build something around that. Because I was like, I play standard, and like the LGS was kind of shady because like I bought into a deck that was going to rotate out the next day, like the very next day. And they sold all the cards to me at full value, and they were like, "Oh yeah." And somebody was like, "Dude, that was pretty screwed up."
Come on, bro.
That they did that.
Yeah.
Because like that deck is rotating, like that set is rotating out tomorrow.
I can't play it tomorrow.
I was like, "What?"
Yeah, that's fucked.
And so I played it that night at FNM, and I was like, "Okay, whatever. It is what it is." And so a group of guys were like, "Hey, you should come play Commander. Come with us. We'll teach you the ways." And little beknownst to me, I didn't know about CDH or like competitive or anything like that, but I grew up playing like games like Marvel vs. Capcom, Tekken, Street Fighter, the whole deal.
Oh yeah.
And so like my mentality was already in that ballpark.
Yeah, you were ready.
I got the Kuma on the shirt.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I see you.
So
we have the same
so
chair,
like, okay,
almost.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
Almost.
So I was like, okay, bet, let's do it. And so they're playing like turn 2, turn 3 wins, and I'm like, wow, this game is a lot faster than I thought. It's kind of like if you get hit with that infinite combo, you got to find a way out of it, or you're just dead, and everybody's scoops and go to the next game. And so that was my mentality coming into the game, not knowing what casual meant. Like thinking like, oh, this is just how it's going to be.
Right. You already started up here. You already started with the violence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I started like, I'm saying, like there were moments where I was like, I would lose on turn 1 because somebody else comboed off, and I'm like, how? What? All right, cool. And that just made me like go, okay, I got to make my decks way better. And so I did the research, got the cards. Like used a lot of the cards that I had to like trade in to like get better cards, get the dual lands, get all the whole deal, and it just ended up being that's just kind of just resonated with my play style. So
it sounds like a great first start.
I know I was long winded, but that's how I started playing.
That's cool. Like, hey, here's some dual lands. Ooh, I like these pretty cards.
Yeah,
that's sick.
It was like duels and fetches and all that. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's dude.
Caracas.
Yeah, I think everybody has their story. Stuff. I had, I got into Magic, and then my brother's always been into Magic, and then me and my brother-in-law we got into Magic, and then it was very casual, and then I played some CDH pods, got dunked on, like you said, turn 2. It's kind of the same thing, and then you get into CDH, and then I look in my bulk land, and I see like 8 fetch lands because I popped a lot of Modern Horizons 2, and I thought they were just bad, and then I'm just like, why do I have a foil etched marsh flats in a misty rainforest?
Right, just chilling.
A year later, I'm like, what the, that's so funny, bro. That's I love hearing that. So you've been chaos from the get go.
Oh, from the get.
Yeah. It definitely shows. I love, I've been a huge fan for 3 years, like I said off air, and I just love this. Just like hey guys, we gonna let Joe play some goblins. We gonna let Joe get away with his bullshit, and you're just like, hey man, I'm just here to punch your face. Why the fuck is Vojacat fucking printed?
Just saying. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
I needed an elf deck that I actually had fun playing.
yeah, yeah. That dude, that's so cool. So you're I want to get a little more into you because you have a huge Discord, you have a huge following, everybody loves you. So is this like your real job, the tabletop jocks? Is this, or is this like, are you comedian and I'm not a comedian, actor, comedian, main job, and this is your side job? Like, tell us a little bit about yourself because I didn't know you were an actor until I was doing research for this pod.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm an actor first.
Cool.
First and foremost, I always tell people I'm an actor that loves gaming in general.
Yeah.
So, I started doing stand up actually last year, like randomly, because my fiance got laid off from her
Uh oh.
job, and she was like, "Hey, do you want?" She's good now. She's good
Okay.
now.
Okay.
But she got laid off from her job, and she was like, "Hey, I want to, because she came out and she did Groundlings, which was like Will Ferrell and like a bunch of other people who are, they went through that program.
Hmm.
And she was like, yeah, I did Groundlings. I kind of want to try out stand up. And I'm like, I'll try with you. Why not? It's
Oh,
the one thing I haven't done in LA.
cool.
So we tried
Supporting.
it out, and we ended up doing a bunch of rooms. I did Comedy Store, famous Comedy Store
Mm.
a couple times, Ice House, a bunch of big venues. I got connected, very well connected, like right off the gate. So that was really cool. Um, I think my goal for that was to just prove to myself that I could do it because I love comedy. I
Hmm.
think the first time I was ever on set, um, with the late Louis Anderson. We did I did an episode of Baskets, and Louis came in such a kind soul, like
Hmm.
rest in peace, but he came in, he was just so full of energy, so cool. Zach Galifianakis was there, very very humble dude,
Oh
super
shit.
cool. Um, and we just had a great time. And after the shoot, because we improv that whole scene, and that was the first time I was able to like improv
Hmm.
during an actual session on set,
Hmm.
and I was like from there on out, I was like, nope, gotta do comedy. Like, this. I love drama. I love Shakespeare. I love getting to like the nitty gritty stuff.
Yeah.
But like when it comes down to it, I have more fun when I'm not like restricted to
Yeah. You're
what's on the
you're like
page.
a
You know what I mean? Like,
goofball. Yeah, you could tell.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah,
always gonna.
yeah. I love
Yeah,
just like fucking with people.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
I
know,
got you.
like Eric Andre is like my
Oh,
inspiration.
he's awesome.
Like,
He's one of the
yeah,
goods.
yeah,
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 he's so cool.
yeah. So I
You
love
know.
watching that show. We usually,
Yeah,
yeah, Always Sunny. I love that kind of comedy. Just like very crass, like just over the top kind of shit. Just
yeah.
like, but it's just like it's funny. Either you get it or you don't. And it's all subjective. It's like comedy is subjective, entertainment is
Hmm.
subjective.
Hmm.
I often know that that my takes on magic or whatever thing I'm in are going to be looked at like, oh, I love this or I hate it, and that's fine. You like what you
Yeah,
like, and you don't like what you don't like. It's cool. It's fine either way. At the end of the day, whatever makes me happy, I'm going to continue to do that.
yeah.
But yeah,
Good for
that's
you.
that's kind of what my focus is all day, and then you know, doing tabletop jocks was something that I was passionate about because I didn't see a lot of people who looked like me um, in the gaming industry in general. Like
Okay.
I found a few, but no one that was actually putting out there and putting faces out there that looked like me. And I thought
Hmm.
that was kind of a bummer. And so I was like, okay, let me. I'll be the charge. I'll be the leader to charge to change that.
Good for you, man. Good
And
for
that's why
you.
I started. Yeah, that's why I wanted to like start stuff like the cookout. Just to
That was
like
my next question.
you know,
That's got to be the
yeah,
coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. You can literally say you're the only guy doing that. And that's kind of what
the
I want
literally
to
only
do with
one.
the
Yeah.
CDH podcast is I want to try to break
Hmm.
off. I'm not just, hey, play this card, play that card, this guy. No, I'm like talking to Matt Tabak. He's heading the
Hmm.
Magic. I'm talking comedian. I'm talking to you. Like I'm trying to do something different. And I have to give you kudos. It just looks like you're having a good time. right? It looks like
Yeah,
you're having fun with your friends playing Magic, doing what you want to do, and then we're just along with the ride. Dude, I love that.
that's it.
That
Yeah.
is the coolest thing ever. Y'all just literally at a cookout, eating food, playing Commander all day. Like, who doesn't want
That's
to do
it.
that? Kudos, man.
Right, right.
You got to come to
Yeah.
Florida. We got to cook out in
Yo,
Florida.
oh yeah, oh yeah. One of my best friends is from Florida, and he's actually moving back. Unfortunately, but he's got a better job. So I'm like, hey, get up out of here. They just had a kid,
Yeah.
so he's gonna move back to Florida. So I definitely will be out there visiting. I mean, he's gonna be my best man at my wedding.
Come
So
on.
I'm like, I gotta go out there and represent. So
Come on, you
he's
got to do it.
he's a Florida State alumni. I'm still go Blue, Michigan.
Yeah.
But I still root. As long as we're not playing each other, I root for Florida State. So
Well, I'm a Gator fan, so I hate Florida State. But my sister
oh,
actually,
okay,
she just graduated from Florida State, so
okay,
she's at
gotcha.
Northwestern now. So I'm with you.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm more like
It's good
Orlando
school.
area, but that's so dope. So I want to talk about
Hell
your
yeah.
community a little bit. Like, what is
Yeah.
I want to get behind, peel back the curtain a little bit. What's the pressure
Mhm.
like? You have 43,000 people that are looking for your video every week or every other week, or your Discord's popping. What is the
Yeah.
added pressure of, hey man, I need to be on, I need to edit, I need to do this? And let's talk about like your community. How'd you build such a good community? I don't really see any negativity in the community at all.
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, I feel like I don't feel pressure to, because there's no way I could know that many people. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
I know like 50 people, and that's a lot.
Yeah.
You go through your contacts and you have like maybe like 20 folks that you talk to on a weekly basis, and
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah, if that. Yeah.
If that, you know what I mean?
I have like 4, but
I'm very, yeah. I mean, I'm a very social butterfly. I grew up only child, and so I always, grab people and like, hey, you want to come be my friend? You want to come hang out?
Mhm.
That's just kind of always been my mentality.
Just play some Magic.
And yeah, exactly. So I'm very much like, hey, the more the merrier. If y'all all here having a good time, great. I think that's how we fostered the Discord to be so cool. Like there's always gonna be bad apples here and there, and they weed themselves out.
Mhm.
And I have a bunch of mods that are amazing people, and they know exactly like when somebody's getting out of line. They're like, all right, we got a one and done policy. Like, hey, if you come in and you're on some bullshit, this ain't this score for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're here being positive, having a good time,
Mhm.
and relaxing. We would all end up going to a bar and like hanging out and having drinks with each other, or just hanging out at each other's place, having barbecue or whatever,
Mhm.
despite playing Magic or anything. It doesn't always have to be. That's the thing too. Is like some people can't get past the conversation of like, oh, I like this thing, so this has to be my personality. And I'm like, you can have personality outside of that. You just,
Mhm.
you're gravitating towards it too much. And I'm like, let that go. We can play Magic and then go out and have a beer or go karaoke
Right,
or go,
right.
bowling or some other activity other than Magic. And it's
Mhm.
cool because we're friends. So I think that's how I try to foster the Discord community and like the online community
Mhm.
in general.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of trolls out there that just are angry at my existence just because I'm one of the only people doing what I'm doing.
Whatever.
And,
Fuck them.
they want to give into exactly,
Fuck 'em, bro.
and I let them know. You know what I mean? I'm not shy about letting people know. Like,
Right.
you entered my chat. This is the wrong place to come. Like it's like you walking into my house and being like,
Yeah.
I don't like the way things are going. Then fuck off.
Bye. Yeah.
Bye. Yeah,
See ya.
exactly. So I'm like, I'm never shy about letting people know exactly how I feel about any situation. And oftentimes you hear, oh, well, content creators aren't supposed to talk about people like that. Well, I'm like, well, I'm a person.
You're
I'm a
a
human
human.
being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They forget that.
And
You're a human first.
you can't talk to people like, can't come out the gate being an asshole, because I'm gonna be an asshole right back to you.
Right.
That's just what it is.
Yeah.
It's like that's human nature. You don't walk up to someone and go,
Hey, fuck you.
Because
excuse
and
me?
then expect to not get anything back.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like, why would you talk to me like that? It's like,
Yeah.
there's fuck around and find out. Like,
Yeah.
there's consequences to actions.
Yeah,
So,
I got you. There's one
you know,
situation at my LGS one time. My son is 12 and he just got
mm-hmm,
into casual. He has a dinosaur
mm,
deck. He fucking loves it,
mm-hmm,
right? I'm
yeah,
playing over here with the CDH. We're chilling, right? It's LGS,
mm-hmm,
dog.
mm-hmm,
I'm in fucking Leesburg,
mm-hmm,
Florida. So Ashton, that's my son's name. He's playing over there. Well, this one
mm-hmm,
guy got mad at the other guy next to my son, and he stood up and
mm-hmm.
threw his cards at the table.
Damn.
Like slammed his hands on the table, threw his cards right
Yeah.
next to my son. And I was
Yeah.
like,
The fuck?
no, we're not doing this. Like, we're cool.
Yeah.
We're cool, but let's go outside.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it outside.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
And he's like, hey, man, I didn't mean to. He didn't hit my son on accident or anything. But
Okay,
he's that
gotcha.
aggressive. Like, come on, bro. Like, we're cool.
Yeah.
But like, there's a whole nother level to this shit. Like, I will
Right.
fuck you up.
It's like we can go to the gym real quick and like you can sign this waiver and put on the gloves and like we can like hash it out like men. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it is what
once
it
the
is.
kids involved, you know what I'm saying? Like I was cool.
Yeah, you gotta protect your.
Yeah, like that. And he saw me and he's like, "Oh my bad." He didn't even knew that was my son. He's like, "Oh my bad." Like, okay, cool. As long as you apologize,
Mm-hmm.
cool. Let's play
yeah.
Magic.
As long as you as long as you realize like, okay, you're out of line.
Yeah.
You step back because everybody in the heat of battle, in the heat of anything, you can have those emotions.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that when you try to like, when you physically get there or go there, it's like, all right, cool. My bad. Let me take this back.
Okay.
I was in the heat of the moment. Let's reflect.
Yeah.
Cool. We're good.
Yeah.
We could become best friends.
If my son wasn't there, I wouldn't have cared. Look at that guy freaking out at his cards. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But like you're protecting your home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to put the dad bod on him. Like, hold on.
Yeah, exactly.
Time out.
Yeah, exactly.
But I got you. But overall, like you said, there are trolls. But overall, dude, it's really hard to find a negative word about you, especially in the Discord. Like everyone loves you. Whatever you're doing, I want you to keep doing it. You want to fucking do the cookout thing, like you said. You want to do this.
Every
People
year.
look like you. Whatever you want to do, I appreciate it. As a person that doesn't look like you, you're fucking awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like that's dope as fuck, bro. That is so dope. So let's get into kind of why we're here. The meta. Let's talk about a little bit of the CDH meta and how did the 4 cards, Dockside Extortionist, Nadu, Jewel Lotus, and Mana Crypt, how did that affect like the more high power pods that you play into? And do you see? I don't think Nadu was that prevalent in casual games. Can you let me know? I don't really play casual that much like you do. Like, how did that affect?
For me and my play group, we kind of just laughed at it. We were just like, this is a casual environment. We're gonna play what we're gonna play. Like, I mean, Cassius hasn't taken Hullbreacher out of his deck, and I didn't expect him to.
Hullbreacher?
And yeah, exactly. That's still in his decks. You know what I mean?
That's like 4 years ago.
It's been banned for. Yeah, exactly. But he's like, yeah, I'm not taking this out, and we don't care. It's like that's the social contract that people don't understand. Is like, I feel like these bans in casual are just a suggestion. It's just a way to make Rule 0 easier to talk about. And it's like, if you sit down in a pot of people that you don't know, and you're like, hey, you guys, I have these banned cards in my deck. Is that cool if I play them? And if they're like, well, yeah, we don't give a fuck. Cool. Then we're playing. Yeah. We're vibing on the same level.
Yeah, we're not playing for money.
Yeah, and the tournament is different. Yeah, exactly. But if we're playing casually and we're, at a table or at a bar or at an LGS, and we all have that social contract with each other that says, oh, yeah, this is how I like to play. I'm going to continue to play like that. You kind of just, like I said, you take the ban list as a suggestion. If it's a tournament, it's a different story. Yeah. But casuals are like, this is exactly what it is. It's casual.
Even casual CDH is the same way. We're all just trying to win. Yeah. Hey, man, is it cool? I want to play my Mana Crypt still. Yeah, that's fine, bro. Hey, man, I'm practicing for a tournament. Cool. Can you not play your Mana Crypt? Okay, cool. I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think more people need to understand that the social contract is the most important thing. And being social, like, this is a social game. Like, we're here to make friends. We're here to talk to people. We're here to, to get to know one another. Yeah. And if I sit down at a table and someone's like, no, I don't want you to play these banned cards. I'm like, I wouldn't have fun with you anyway. Right. Thank you for letting me know. I'm out. Good. You know what I mean? Like, we good.
Thank you for showing your colors. Hey, I have anything better to do.
All good. Like, I learned in the first 2 minutes that I do not want to play this game with you, and that is fine. or if someone sits down and they don't want to talk about their deck, or they want to say, oh, I have a 7. Okay, what does that mean? Like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, what I like to do is I like to tell people, okay, cool, this deck has won in this many turns, or this deck has popped off in these many turns. Do we have decks that all could do the same thing?
Yeah.
That way we can come together and figure out, okay, when do our decks want to try to go off?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that it goes off like that every time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it has before, so don't be surprised if it does again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what we do,
you keep a certain hand.
Yeah.
That's just what it does.
What we do, we'll be like, hey man, I just built this cool Edgar Markov deck. I think it's insane, but I don't know. And then I can look at my 10 decks and be like, you know what? Okay, I'm not touching these precons. Let me try this deck, and then we'll go from there and play it out. If you're friends, like, who cares? Oh, he won this game. All right, let's just leave up, play another one. Let's get another deck.
Right. Yeah, if somebody pops off, maybe, and also too, like, people don't understand, like, you can also post Rule Zero. Like, if somebody brings a deck and they don't even realize how powerful it is, you can let them know, like, hey, that deck's probably crazier than you think it is. So next time you go to a pod, you can say this in the introduction of the deck before people know, so they can bring something. Because the thing is about Rule Zero, if people don't understand, is that we're just trying to bring the best thing that we can to all match the same power level. And it's like playing a fighting game. It's like if somebody, like, I'm playing Marvel's Capcom 2, if somebody picks Magneto, Storm, Sentinel, I'm like, I'm not gonna pick like Servbot and Mega Man and like Zangief. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be like,
exactly what you're saying.
For real. You know what I mean? Like, people don't understand. Like, if you pick a top tier character in a fighting game, you're like, oh, I gotta match their level. I gotta match their energy.
Yeah, and a lot of commanders,
otherwise I'm just gonna get smoked.
Yeah, a lot of commanders are like that. If I see Yuriko or Vojacat, I already know those commanders are really good.
It's coming.
Yeah.
I
gotta.
And I will also encourage people that if they're going to bring commanders that are quote unquote the boogeyman commanders, then build it like the boogeyman. Build it like crazy. Like, build it nuts. Build it like going balls to the wall, because people are going to assume that anyway when you sit down in the pod. Because even if you're like, oh, I'm built Urza, mono blue Urza, but it's not really mono blue Urza. It's like, is it though? It's like it's gonna end up going off. Like, because Urza just does that. It's built to be the boogeyman. So lean into that and build it like crazy, so that you won't be surprised if you're like, oh, well, I built it jank. It's like, well, don't. Like, or if you want a jank commander, put a jank commander in its place instead of putting the boogeyman in its place, because then you're going to get jumped.
Yeah, that's so funny. From like pre-cons to high power to CDH, they all have something in common. I tell people, play stuff that you enjoy playing. It doesn't matter if you're going to tournaments. Don't play this blue farm list that you don't like. Play this other deck. It might not be as good as blue farm, but you with this deck might be.
But you're having fun.
Yeah,
and somebody else might counter that deck, or bring a counter to that deck, and you're like, well, I was already not having fun with this deck. Now I'm having even more fun, because you're literally countering my deck. Because there's like Magic, people don't understand. Magic is paper, rock, scissors, and there's always going to be a counter to something else. There's no like, I play mostly creature decks, but if you play something with like no creature ETBs or creature activated abilities of creatures can't do a thing, I'm fucked. But those are very specific counters to my deck. Like, usually people who play control sit back and they benefit from, sitting back and doing nothing until they do everything. Same thing with combo. Combo gets beat by control, because control is like, no, you're not going to play that thing that you said you were going to win with. I'm going to counter it.
Yeah.
And then aggro beats control, because aggro is like, all right, cool. I've already dealt you like 25 damage, and like, now that you have your pieces up, I have a big army over here, and I'm gonna swing in and kill you. But then combo beats aggro, because it's like, I win with these 2 cards, and you can't stop that. So that's the thing too, is like, there's a balance with Magic. There's a balance with deck building. There's a balance with different cards. And the reason why I say fuck blue, I don't really mean that. I mean, fuck people who don't. I don't really mean that. I mean that like, in the sense of fuck people who don't know how to play counter spells well, or control well, because it's really hard. You really have to understand the mentality of like controlling the table and really countering the spell that matters. Because I've seen so many times that people will counter a spell that has no relevancy whatsoever, or it's like
Threat
a
assessment.
minor slight inconvenience to them versus a win. That's what you counter. You counter the win.
Mm-hmm.
You counter the thing that's gonna like set the table so far away from like a farewell. Like, okay, cool. Somebody plays a farewell. If I have a Teferi's protection, there's no need for me to counter that. I'm just gonna go to Wakanda. I'm out of here, and that's that. Uh, you know what I mean? So people need to understand like the levels of how to play control decks, and that's what I don't love. And also politics. Like people don't understand like just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something.
Yeah.
Because you have the mana open for it doesn't mean you should use it now.
Mm.
Because that source of plowshares is going to come in handy later on when somebody plays a big fucking crazy spell that's like, ooh, how do we get rid of that? How do we get rid of that Avacyn? How do we get rid of that thing that just came off the Lurking Predators? Oh, I get the source of plowshares. But somebody's like, oh, I'm going to sword your commander early just because I can. Don't do that. Stop.
That's literally CDH like, table tournaments. Like you're literally explaining that, but different cards. Like, why the fuck are you countering his Rhystic Study and you let the Necropotence resolve? What?
Yep.
I just talked about this.
Or just counter the thing. Like people say that, like, oh, okay, cool, Demonic Tutor. I'm gonna, counter it or whatever. Counter the thing that comes after the Demonic Tutor that's gonna win them the game.
Yeah.
Like let them search. Who cares? Mm-hmm. Get them 2 cards deep in, and then they think they have the win, and you go, nah, counter. And if they have a counter, then like, it is what it is. Yeah. But I play smarter.
Well, I think like in medium lower power pods, that's where like the weird thing of like control and counter spells. Like I'm not going to play counterspell in my level 6 deck, right? I think that's weird. I'm not going to counter someone's commander. Like that's just I think all that is going to be in rule 0. Hey man, I'm playing my in my brain it's an 8-9 Vojacat deck. Okay, you want to play control? Okay, cool. But what you're saying is, why are you countering this if that guy's going to win? But that's the biggest problem with Commander is threat assessment.
Right.
Like,
threat assessment, and also just like people just lying about their decks, or like saying, oh, I have a level 6. Like I said, that isn't effective That isn't effective communication. Effective communication is saying, hey, I have these combos in my deck. You should probably look out for those. I have these stacks pieces. Do they, are they going to affect your deck? Like my new Lord of Pain deck. Like, don't play a life gain deck because my commander says your opponents can't gain life.
Right.
If your whole objective is to gain life, I'm going to counter that hard and passively. I'm just going to play my commander, but I have so many cards in that deck that your deck won't be any fun playing against this deck because unless you have a way to remove it every single time, I'm going to keep bringing it back out.
I'm just playing my game plan. I'm not even trying to hate you out. This is my game plan.
Yeah, exactly. this is just what the deck does. And so that will eliminate a lot of frustration and, bad feelings or bad times.
Yeah.
If somebody, if this is their only day of the week, they can, play Commander. They show up to a local game store and they go, man, I played against this guy. He did this thing. I'm like, well, did y'all talk about it first? Because I'm pretty sure if you would have had a conversation about your decks beforehand, you wouldn't have felt so bad.
Yeah.
Now, if the person doesn't want to talk about it, that's another thing. You could choose to be in that pod, or you can choose to say, you know what? I don't think I'm going to get the vibe of this pod. I don't think we're very compatible. It seems like you don't really want to talk about your decks, and I'm trying to like gauge them so I can have a good time.
Yeah.
It seems like
that's why I like CDH. Rule 0, we're trying to win.
Yeah, exactly. There's no other thing. Like you like CDH is different because like it's like balls to the wall. You bring what you bring. You bring that smoke. Yeah. Let's get it.
That's why I like it. But I'm with you. Like on spell table, right? If I see, hey guys, no proxies. Like I already don't want to play with you. Like why is your mindset?
Yeah.
Who cares if I have a proxy?
Yeah, who cares?
As long as it's a real card. Right?
Write it on the back of a basic land. I don't give a shit. Like write mana.
I already don't want to play with you because you have that mindset of, oh no, I play with these cards and no proxies allowed. I'm like, this is Commander.
Yeah.
Like
done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm out.
Done. It's casual.
Yeah.
We're here to have a good time. And if there's somebody that doesn't want to have a good time or somebody doesn't want to talk or be social, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and even in tournaments, tournaments allow proxies most of the time unless it's like a con.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that tells you I
exactly.
want to play against you, not your wallet. That's a CDH.
Right.
I don't care that you have a time
I'd
twister.
rather
Time
play
twister's
against.
fine. Like it's
Yeah, I'd rather play against somebody's strategy than play against their wallet,
yeah.
because if they're good at the game and they just can't afford to spend that money, or they're just like not in a financial
Mhm.
position to spend money on fake cardboard, you know what I
Like a
mean? Like, this is a game, this is a fantasy game. Who
yeah.
cares? Okay, cool. I would rather play against someone's mental.
Yeah.
I would play against someone's mind and how they put things together and how they orchestrate
Mhm.
things than to play against, like, oh, well, I have the best deck because I have the most money. Nah, fuck
No.
that. Like,
I don't know if you ever played against skilled players. It doesn't matter what the fuck
yeah,
they bring. Right? They
yeah,
can bring the
yeah.
$100 Eureka deck and fucking smack.
Mm-hmm.
That
And
doesn't
so I can
matter.
smack
Yeah.
everybody.
And you played
That's
with
what I'm
the big
saying. Like,
dogs. You played with Marsh. You played with Post Malone. Like they
yeah,
have the
mm-hmm.
blingiest blings, blings, blings.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean they're the best
yeah,
at the
yeah,
table,
yeah.
and they don't win every game on your channel.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
totally with you.
So I mean, it is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have somebody, like I said, play against somebody's skill than play against their wallet.
Yeah.
But if they do have all the bling shit, that looks
Yeah.
cool. I love to see
Cool.
it.
Let me see the
You know,
1-of-1 ring
I
post.
like doing that shit
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to pivot into do you have any advice for new players, like getting into Commander, getting into CDH, starting a collection? Like, what's the advice you could give them?
I mean, try everything. Try all the archetypes. Try Enchantress. Try combo. Try try all the different
Mm,
strategies there are out there. Just to get a hint of like what you like to do and how you like to win. Um, like I said, I have a fighting game background, and so that kind of leans me into like more aggro strategies,
red.
more creatures turning sideways and doing creature combos and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So that let me know like, oh, I really enjoy this. I enjoy like um pushing the envelope forward as opposed to like being reactive. I like being proactive that as opposed to reactive.
Hmm.
So that let me know I enjoy more strategies that are progressing the game as opposed to just sitting back and waiting. But I didn't know that until I started playing all the strategies and started seeing all the archetypes and
Hmm.
started, so try everything, see what you like, um, you know, proxy whatever you want to. Who cares? Because at the end of the day, like if you're gonna spend money on something, spend it on like stuff that you want to invest in and move forward with, and you'll be like, I'm happy I made a purchase of these cards. Of course, buy cards, but like if you want to just try some stuff out, hell, take a slip of paper and write it on the back of a fucking
Hmm.
back of a card and just put it right here
Yeah.
and just be like, yeah, this is that card. And like most of the time, I would say 70 to 80% of the people that you encounter are going to be cool with that. There might be those one people that are like, 20%, they're like, oh, I don't want, and you don't want to play with them anyway. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you probably don't want to play with them anyway because they're gatekeeping
Hmm.
or their mentality is just so fucked up that you're just like, I don't have time for this. Like, this is a social game. I'm supposed to be having fun. And that's what I want to do. I want to make friends. I want to have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I've made some, like, definitely some lifelong friends from playing this game. It's been really cool.
Hmm.
Like I said, I'm very humbled every time I go to anything and people are like, oh man, I love your show. And I'm like, I'm just here having fun. I'm just here for the
I'm just playing
vibes.
Magic.
I'm just having a good
Yeah.
time. So I love that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I'm never going to get used to it. Because I'm just here to just have a good time with everybody.
You're like, oh yeah, I guess I do have one of those. I'm just here to fucking slam some creatures. Yeah, yeah. That's so funny. I got one guy ask me, "Are you the Doom of Fool?" Yes, I am. What
Let's
do you
go.
need?
Hell yeah.
Right? I'm just, oh my god, right? I have 80 subscribers, but it's fine.
Hell yeah.
Do you have any advice for new content creators? Because you are one of the big dogs in this community.
I don't even think like that's crazy to say that because like I don't even think I am.
You definitely
I'm just
are.
like
Humbly,
I'm just
you are a big
here.
dog.
I'm just having a good time. Like just do the content that you want to see out there that's in the world
Mhm.
that you love doing.
Mhm.
Like I didn't start doing the cookout until a couple of years ago where I thought like there's a lack of melanin in a lot of these pods
Okay.
and nobody is here to like celebrate that and to celebrate Juneteenth or Black History Month or anything like that. So I was like, let me lean into that because
Hmm.
the cookout is such a sacred thing in the Black community, and
Hmm.
if you like, the old adage, if you get invited to the cookout, you know you the homie. So that's kind of how I wanted to like expand that out
Yeah.
to, the public this year. I had a public cookout, and it went well. It went so
Did it?
great.
Good.
Everybody had a good time. We played Magic. There was judges there. They were, everybody was just having a good time. There was barbecue. It was a nice little event to bring everybody together in community. A lot of people were saying like, oh, this is like going to MagicCon without all the bullshit, and I was like, oh, I guess so. You know what I mean? Because like we just cut right through the going to any like events or anything like that. We were just like, let's just like kick it and have a
Just
good
hang out.
time.
Yeah.
Um,
You had a couple
and
hundred
next
people,
year,
right?
I had about 120 ish, but I was
Holy
like, I
shit.
capped it at 100 because I was like, oh damn, okay,
Uh-oh. That's a
like
lot of
let
fucking
me at
people.
least, yeah, let me at least get this thing popping first. Let me get the event rolling, and then I think later on, as the years go by, there'll be more and more people to come through.
Yeah.
So
And you should definitely do cookout in different areas.
I
Cookout
would love
Florida,
to
dog.
expand
Let's
it.
do it.
I would love to expand
Come
it. You
on.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's one thing at a time. I just wanted to get it
Get it
out
out
there
there.
and open and like, all right, cool. This can happen. And then, like I said, as time goes on, I would love to, expand it and keep doing it everywhere.
That is so cool. So how is it like if you guys type in Commander, you're gonna see Joe on fucking YouTube, right? So one big event I wanted you to see. What is it like to be on the big shows like Command Zone? You went to the Vegas. You're at the big table at the Vegas. I think it was last year or year before that. What is it
Yeah.
like? Like you're literally a celebrity. What is it like on the biggest stage of Commander? You're just like, man, I'm just
Yeah.
fucking here, my blue black deck, but it's really just black.
No, it was fun. It
What
was
is so
like, I
good?
think the hypest moment for me was the intro. Just like going down the ring. It felt like very like WWE.
Hell yeah,
it's
I'm
just
a
like
huge WWE
I,
fan.
yeah, like I very very much felt like I was like coming out to the crowd, like
Yeah.
doing like, yeah, exactly, doing like a WWE or just kind of like UFC. It felt very like coming down to the ring to like
Yeah.
get it on. That was probably the funnest part for me right there. Just the interest in interacting with people, and I had my boy out there to like give me the water, like kind of like Rocky status.
Do the
We didn't
Triple
tell
H.
nobody about that. We were just gonna,
The
yeah.
rock bottom. That's
But
funny.
yeah, I think it's a good time. I'm friends with all those people.
Yeah.
I'm friends with Jimmy and Josh, and and Rachel, and all the homies out there. Like Olivia, Brian. We all just kick it and
That's
like
cool.
play Commander casually. So I don't really think of it as being and I love, like I said, I love acting, I love performing, I love being on stage. I started on stage, I love Shakespeare, that kind of deal. So like being on stage is always gonna be a high for me. I love just performing in general and entertaining and having a good time. So
Right.
I just kind of look at it like, oh, I get to go play with my friends. You know
That
what I
is so
mean? I get to
cool.
go.
You guys
Yeah.
have done so much for the community. I love all those guys. Before I let you go, my wife will kill me if I don't ask you. Is Post Malone
Oh
the
yeah.
coolest guy ever or what?
Oh
She's
yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
biggest Post Malone fan, and she heard that I was going to do this with you. I have to ask. He's got to be like dope as fuck.
Oh yeah.
How the fuck did you
Definitely.
meet him? How'd you play with him? Like, give me the sauce. That's the dream.
So the way we met was kind of crazy. We met at a local game store. I've told the story a bunch of times, but like I remember walking into
Local game store.
a game store,
Post
and
Malone.
I saw him there. He was surrounded by his bodyguards, and he was just chilling. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's really cool. Like he really is like into this game. That's dope.
Yeah. He's doing
And
the work.
I didn't want to like fangirl. I didn't want to bother him or anything
Yeah.
like that. I was like, people are people. It is what it is. You know what I mean? You wouldn't go up to a random person on the street and be like, hey, I think I know you from this thing. It's like,
Right,
oh,
I'm the same way.
That's cool.
Yeah, he plays Magic.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's dope. So he kept looking back, kind of around his shoulder, and I was like, I kind of looked back, was like thinking like too, like, okay, maybe he's waiting for somebody. And he looked back the third time, and he said, "Oh shit, Big Joe, what up?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry,
Excuse me? I'm Austin.
And he was
I
like,
know
"Oh,"
who you are.
and he came right up to me. He's like, "Hey, my name's Austin. I'm a big fan." And he's like, "I saw you on game nights, this and this and this." He's like, I love your content. Like, we should like definitely like connect and like like gave me his phone number right there,
Dude,
and
how
like,
cool is that?
you know what I mean? Like, and we've just been friends ever since. Like,
Cool.
I've been to his house a bunch in Utah. You know, we hang out every time he's in LA.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, our friendship grew like really, really quickly. And he's such a dope friend. Same thing with, you know, with Cash. Me and Cassius are super homies.
Yeah, I'm a huge Steelers
Um,
fan, so he's one of my favorites
yeah.
too. That's so cool. That's so cool,
You
dude.
know, so it's just like, yeah, so that's, I mean, you meet people however you meet, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, and usually the people that you meet that are, if you're a fan of their work and they're a fan of your work, it's just going to work
Yeah, you met
out.
him on
You know what I mean?
accident. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's so
exactly.
cool. It is. I talk a lot on this channel about that. It's about the gathering, right? Like, how many
Hmm.
friends have you met? You met Post Malone, you met this guy, you met that guy. Like, you have long
Hmm.
friendships just because of Magic. And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, with all this negative stuff with the RC and the bullshit and the
Hmm.
bans, I think it's the gathering. I'm more excited I've
Yeah.
ever been to play Magic in Brew Decks.
Hmm.
Like, as of right
Yeah.
now, September 28, 2024, the sky's the limit, right? Like, could
Yeah.
you agree? Like, especially in the high power, maybe not CDH pods,
Hmm.
they're printing like crazy. There's a new
Hmm.
crazy commander every week. I feel like, right?
Literally
Like the
every week.
sky's the limit. Now, hey, you got to sit the CDH deck you're looking at. You don't have to worry about Dockside. Like, sit this
Yeah.
might
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
viable.
Yeah.
I'm cooking on a list right now. I'll send it to you. You
Right.
know what I mean? So I agree. It's about all the time we have. Do you have anything you want to plug or anything?
Um,
I'll put your YouTube channel.
Everybody just lead with kindness. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, lead with kindness. I think there was a lot of like, speaking on the negativity, just to touch on it, you know, there was a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, you can have frustrating moments, but like, don't threaten people. Don't like send emails or
Yeah.
messages of like violence.
Yeah.
Like, none of that is necessary. Like, you can be upset about something, but that doesn't give you the right to reach out. And also too, like, you know, you got to respect the people who are like putting themselves out there, that are like in the forefront of like trying to make the game more balanced. And like, if you don't agree with it, then don't agree with it. But just keep it to
Just move
yourself, keep it
forward.
to your friend group, move
Yeah.
forward, or just ignore the bans. Like, if you have your friend group that you play with and that's what you want to do, ignore them. You don't have to like
Yeah.
voice how upset you are at the people that you think that
Yeah.
are, you know, responsible for it. That's unnecessary.
Mm.
Just lead with love, lead with kindness, because at the end of the day, you would want the same thing done to you in return, if you were in their shoes. So,
I agree.
you know, everybody needs to just like get some therapy, take a chill pill, just like fucking relax, go smoke some weed, go take a shot. Who cares?
You hear it
Just
first.
at the
Go
end of the
smoke
day,
some weed for Black Neto.
you know what I mean? Yeah, like smoke weed every day.
Smoke weed every day.
You know, like at the end of the day, like we only have one life. You might as well live it to the fullest and have fun while we're
Just
here.
why you spend the small
And
shit? It's a fucking game of cardboard. Sell your mana crypts,
exactly,
move forward. Let's
yeah,
play some
move the
fucking
fuck on,
Magic.
or keep them, like keep them, play with your friends. Like,
Yeah.
if your friend group is mostly just your friends, or like your LGS is like, you know, you have that core group of people you play with, and they're like, meh, I don't care. I'm just gonna keep playing these cards.
Yeah.
Because that's what the game is for. Play with any card on the ban list. Who cares? Build a wacky like silver bordered, you know, commander deck. Like, who cares?
As long as you're
Like,
having
just play the game the way you want to play it.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Y'all heard heard it here first. Black Neto says, "Smoke some weed, chill the fuck out." I'm gonna quote you on that. But no, man, I appreciate your time. I probably agree with everything you say. I try not to agree with everything, but y'all quit being trolls. Play some fucking Magic.
Yeah,
Who cares?
just, I mean, it's just play some Magic.
Yeah.
We're here for the gathering. Chill the fuck out. Just like live your life. Be happy.
I want to play that new
Sharpie,
that Sharpie format.
Yeah,
I want to play that. Come on, who cares? Why is life so serious, right? Like, I think
why so serious?
that's your biggest thing. You watch, you play, and I think you laugh the whole time in every single gameplay video. You're just,
and it's not forced either. I'm just having a good time. Like, the people I surround myself with, I know I'm gonna have a good time with. I don't care what they bring to the table. I know we're all gonna have a fucking great time. And that's the reason why I continue to do this and continue to have fun. Just like, if you're not having fun, don't do it. You know what I mean? Like, if you know, in anything, you know, if you're not having fun doing it, why are you doing it? You know? Yeah. Same thing with being an actor. Like, you know, auditioning and everything. When I walk into that room, I'm having a great time. I'm having a blast. So it's like,
Mhm.
why would I be here if I'm not having a good time?
Right.
You
Do
know?
what you love. Yeah. And especially with
Yeah.
the deck
Yeah.
building
Yeah. Yeah.
too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't
Mm-hmm.
play a deck that you don't like or you think someone's gonna, counter your thing and you hate that. Don't do
Yeah.
that. Do
Or
something
net
that you're
deck,
having fun with.
or like, oh, this is the best deck, so I have to play this.
Yeah.
It's
Don't
like,
do
you don't have to play
Nope.
anything. Anything can be, an outlier. If you're playing CEDH and you're like, I want to try this new brew. This seems dope. I want to, test it out. Okay, cool. Test it
Yeah.
out. If it works, great. If it doesn't, who cares?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just brewed that Naya Bear where everything's a 2/2, you draw it's a food chain outlet,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fucking
Yep.
insane. No, it's not the
Yeah.
top deck in the format, but do I have fun? Dude, I'm having a
Yeah.
fucking blast.
That's all that matters. That's all that
Yep,
matters.
I agree.
That's all that
So that's
matters.
the time. Thank you again, Joe. You couldn't be any
Yeah.
fucking cooler. That's a tabletop jock. That's my favorite part. Tabletop jock. Sorry.
Yes, let's go.
Fanboying a little bit, but y'all have a good day. Thanks for listening. That's another pod in the books.
Woo!
See y'all later. Peace.